Good morning, everyone. I wanted to take the time to do this kind of intro and start to this week's video in my car while I'm driving to work. If you can tell, my voice is not in the best spot. I have a little bit of a cold. I am taking medicine, I'm doing all the things, but some things just have to get done sometimes, even though we're not feeling the greatest. And last week I missed my upload because I had a lot of personal things going on and it just did not happen. And I was really, really disappointed because I had all the intentions of kind of setting up and doing all the things, especially for this series that I am trying to do, of getting myself ready before the end of this year for next year. So bear with me today for the different camera angle, the lighting, and how I sound. We're gonna make sure we're driving safe and just kind of talk to you guys about everything. So my idea behind this series was to give you guys a glimpse into sometimes what happens when real life happens, and you still want to have goals, you still want to prepare, you want to feel good about your next year. And I've always had a kind of icky feeling about New Year's resolutions because it's one of those things where it's this time of year and everybody's gearing up for when the new year comes, I'm gonna do blank. It's almost like our habits get worse around the end of the year because we're like, well, I'll rectify the situation basically come January. And that doesn't really work, right? We have so many stories of like, oh, I already messed up my New Year's resolution. I will never forget one year driving in the car. It was like January 2nd and the radio happened to be on, and this woman that was hosting the radio, she was like, January 2nd and my New Year's resolutions, I already messed them up. They're gone. That's it. And I was so angry because she was making such a joke out of it. And not that you have to be perfect and complete all your New Year's resolutions, but it was just so nonchalant and like, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. And that's how a lot of us are about our goals. Like, oh yeah, I knew I probably wasn't going to do that. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway, because when have I ever stuck to something? And it gives this idea to our subconscious mind that we're never going to complete anything or do anything that we're saying we're going to do. And then that creates a pattern, right? It creates a cycle. It makes it easy for us to ignore the goals that we have for ourselves. And so this series, this video series throughout the end of the year, is kind of putting into perspective how real life can still happen and how we can still achieve our goals and set ourselves up for success. I want to put a disclaimer in here. This does not mean perfection. This is not about 75 hard. It's not about perfection glow up or anything like that, because I feel like that makes it really difficult for some of us to put our goals at the forefront as a priority, because we're like, I have a job, I have this going on, I have that going on. I don't want to be that girl. I just want to be a little bit healthier. I just want to make my creativity a priority. I want to really focus on this one thing. I want to get better with money, whatever it is. And we psych ourselves out into thinking it has to be all or nothing. And I am the first one to say, I do that. I always make my thinking all or nothing. I make myself think that if I cannot do 5 days of workouts, then I just shouldn't be doing it. And I have done it time and time and time again. And it was only recently that I actually got myself to stick to something for 30 days straight, and that was journaling. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So today's first topic, that was a little bit of a long-winded intro because I wanted to stress the importance of why I'm doing this. I want people to be able to set themselves up for success come the new year without like ignoring that we're still in this year and get to enjoy the present of this year, even if you're sick like me. So today's topic is going to be about actually setting those goals and what that looks like, because person to person it's going to be different. And unfortunately, a lot of times we take on the goals of other people when they're not actually goals of ours. It's just that it seems like that's what you should be doing, and so you do it, and then you're not sticking to it because really it doesn't matter that much to you. I'll give you an example. So here's what you don't want to do. When I was doing network marketing way back when, and if you don't know that about me, maybe that's a story for another day. But when I was doing network marketing as like an 18, 19-year-old, I got into the self-development world, and I fed so heavily into all the juju of exactly what should be on your vision board and what like big goals you should have, like the mansion and the this and the that, just all these extravagant things. And they all sounded good to me, and I was like, yeah, I want a big house and I want this and I want that. But at 18 years old, did I really want to own a house like right now? In theory, I'm sure I thought I did, but no, I did not. I was still like, I was going to college, I was doing all these things, so that those goals didn't make sense for me. But because so many other people had those goals, I was putting that on my vision board, and I was making it this big, aesthetically pleasing thing that didn't really resonate with me. But I didn't realize that. I just thought, this is what everyone's doing, this sounds so great. Really what I wanted was money to pay my bills, and money that could potentially become one day owning a home or something like that. But in that moment, that didn't really matter to me. I just thought it should. And it wasn't until one day, one girl that was on a kind of coaching call, she talked about her vision board, and she was like, if you guys don't want false eyelashes, don't put it on your vision board. She was talking about how she had on her vision board when she first started that she really wanted to be able to get her eyelashes done, every 2 weeks, whatever the timeline is for that. And she was like, but if that's not important to you, don't put that on your board. And it just happened, it was the way that she said it that made me be like, oh yeah, why would I put that on my board if that's not important to me? But also, on the other hand, she was like, to some people, that seems like a really small thing to get your eyelashes done. And so some people think, well, I can't put that on my vision board, that's not significant enough. And she's like, that's also not true. If there's something small that you want and currently you don't get it consistently, that should be on your board. And that made me think, okay, so no goal is too small, but for her, the eyelashes make her feel good. It doesn't matter that it seems like a small amount, and it doesn't matter if I don't want false eyelashes. It matters that she does, and that means something to her, and that's motivating to her. So that's number one. The mistakes that a lot of people make are not actually diving into what makes them motivated to move forward and what makes them want to go after their goals. Number two is, okay, now that you know that, how do you actually set goals that you care about? First of all, you're going to start with where you are currently, and that's in every section of your life. Financial, relationships, whether that's romantic, family, friends, relationship with yourself, your self-esteem, your confidence, your daily habits, how you clean, how you cook, do you meal prep, any of these things. I want to say right now, no judgment for any way that your life looks like right now, because this isn't about, like, I feel like this is another problem, is we judge ourselves as we're writing out our current life, and we psych ourselves out before we can even start to change, because we're so worried about what it looks like right now, and it seems like too much work to go any further. So I want you to really understand that there is no judgment, but you can't get to the things you actually want if you're not honest about where you are right now. That doesn't mean beating yourself up and being like, oh my God, I suck, I don't make enough money, and I don't do this and I don't do that. None of that. It's just, where are you now? Like, matter-of-factly, if you had to put on paper, if you had to apply for something and say this and this and this is all currently correct, what would that look like? Do you currently exercise at all? Do you read as much as you want to? Are you creative as much as you want to be? Do you work at the job that you like? Like, this isn't even just about, like, the healthy goals, again, that you're supposed to have. Just, what does it look like? What does your day-to-day look like? What time do you wake up? What time do you go to bed? How many meals do you have a day? anything like that. You're gonna, ideally, on a piece of paper. You can do a Google Doc. I'm a big fan of Google Docs, but I really love physically writing down stuff. So I would recommend that. Pause for Gatorade. You're gonna lay all of that out. Then I want you to take a couple highlighters, whether that's on your computer or physical highlighters. Make one color, stuff that you're like, this is good, I like this. And it doesn't have to be, I like this, but I don't like it in this way. For example, I'm really glad that I have a good paying job, but I wish the hours were like this. No, if you like that part about your job, highlight it, just leave that for that. Like, one step at a time. This is another huge thing, one step at a time. Because if you overwhelm yourself with all the 50 different things that you're supposed to be doing, we're again getting into that all or nothing mindset, and you're back at square one where you don't want to do any of it because it feels scary. But this is not scary, okay? Like, I have so much anxiety, but let me tell you, highlighting things on a page, not scary, okay? Don't think about the next step. Highlight something on a page, not scary, okay? So you highlight all the things that you like in one color, and then you take a highlighter for all the things that you're really not happy with. And this could even be from here. You highlight all the things that you like. I don't like that I wake up at this time. I don't like that I only make this much money. Anything like that. So this is why we're kind of writing everything down. What does current life look like? So you can kind of see the gaps. Then you're going to write down, well, what would make these things better? Okay, you have your current life. What does that look like? A pulled back version. Then you have, okay, what would help these things? If I don't like the time that I wake up, write a note to it. What time would you like to wake up? What time would help you? And I don't want to hear, but I'm not a morning person, I can't write that. Nope, I didn't ask that. I said, what time would you like to wake up? What time would be ideal for you to be waking up, if that's something that is important to you or sounds good to you? What would that look like? This is, again, no judgment, no stipulations, no excuses as to why it can't happen. I'm just asking you a question. That's just like if I said, if you could have any animal as a pet, what would it be? And most of the time people are going to answer, right? And it might be like giraffe, but like, obviously you're not going to get a giraffe right now, but me just asking you the question, I'm just asking, if you could, what would it be? Giraffe? Okay, great. You're not saying to me, well, Brittney, that's not realistic. I can't have the animal that I want. I didn't ask you if you could or not. I said, what one do you want? Right? So for this exercise, and I'm so sorry, my voice is cracking so much and doing so many things, but I'm very passionate, so we're going to keep moving forward. Hopefully you can stay with me. For this particular exercise, what would make these things better? Then you're also with in tune with that. What kind of things do you want to add? Like, some of these things might just be what would make this better, as in I want to wake up at this time instead of this time. Then you're looking at, okay, well, are there things that aren't here at all that I do want to be here? I want to be exercising. I want to be whatever. Now, this could also mean that you're just saying, I want to feel better physically. You could not know yet what that looks like. Does it look like changing your eating habits? Does it look like exercising more? Does it look like how do you exercise more? Not sure, but you might just know, I want to feel better physically. Okay, great. Put all of that down. And now you have some sort of map that, even though there's nothing to it yet, you haven't done anything scary, we're not adding anything new, you're not a failure, nothing's happening, nothing's wrong. You just put things on paper. And that's a huge step in and of itself. Being honest with yourself and being able to look at something and know what you want different is so much farther than so many people are. So congratulations, you've made it to that first step. Amazing, you did awesome. Like, seriously, if you want, pause this video here and go do that. Do it with me. And matter of fact, if anyone would like to do this live with me and kind of see a step-by-step process, whether that's live on like a Zoom call, live call, or If you would like to see a video of me doing it, please drop a comment below and let me know, because I can certainly make that happen. I'm realizing my necklace is twisted, but I can certainly make that happen, okay? Great, so you've got your steps down right there. Your number 1 was putting out how your life currently looks. Your number 2 is all the highlights of what's working, what's not. Your number 2 is looking at the highlights. What is good about this? What do I want to change? And part 2 of that is, what would I like to look different? What would make this better? And what do I want in here that I don't feel is currently in here? Okay, those are your beginning steps. You're doing great. So now for this part of the video, I want to just give you some ideas of what these goals could look like. We've already talked about, I would like to feel better physically. Now I want you to really go through every area of your life and think, what would just make it 1% better? Don't, again, overwhelm yourself with the, I want 6-pack abs, but currently I don't work out at all. Like, do not jump to there, because that's not where we're at, and that's setting yourself up, not for failure. Like, that's a great end goal to have, but without anything structurally in place right now, that makes no sense, right? If I really told you that you could get a giraffe as a pet, there are still things that you would have to do before you could even think about getting said giraffe, right? That might be your end goal, to have a giraffe and to be able to do that. But you're going to need to do some research. You're going to need to make sure you have a home for said giraffe. What do you feed a giraffe? How many times a day do they have to eat? Do they walk? What do you need, right? So that's a pretty far away goal, not because it's unachievable, but because there's quite a few steps before something like that. Whereas if I said, get a puppy as a pet, sure, there's steps there, but typically most of us have some sort of idea of what you would need to get a puppy as a pet. The kind of 2 totally different animals, right? And 2 totally different needs. Still a lot of steps, but we might be able to collect them a little bit easier than we would for a giraffe. Moving on, with the goals that you're setting and the ideas that you have, maybe your first thing is like, I want to look and feel healthier. And what does that look like for you? Do you actually want 6-pack abs, or do you just want to feel better in your day-to-day? Do you want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs without getting winded? I want you to start getting specific, not in the, I need exactly this thing, but like, for me, a lot of my workout goals have nothing to do with like, I want this type of muscle, and more to do with, for my dance career, I'm like, I want to be able to do XYZ without hurting myself. I want to get to this flexibility goal for this reason, whatever. I get more and more specific with it, because then I'm tailoring my workouts and things that I do to that specific goal, instead of just working out just to work out. Maybe I want to work out just to move my body more, and if that's the case, I'm going to do a dance workout, because I know that like running and me, we're not really friends. So if I want to move my body more, I'm going to find a way to do it that's fun for me, that's specific to me and my goals. So I want you to work on getting specific to each of the things. Does that mean, if you have a financial goal, is it, I want to make this much more a week so that way I can put it right into savings? I want to make this much more a week so I can get my nails done. That's okay. I don't want you to think about, oh, that's frivolous, or oh, it's not good enough of a goal. Just, what do you want? It doesn't matter what I want or anybody else wants. You have to want it. And if that means that it's getting your nails done, if that means it's getting Starbucks every day, if that means that it's saving up for a car, if that means that you want to be able to go to Target and spend $50 a week without feeling guilty, great. I love that for you, because it's your goal. So maybe take a separate sheet of paper for this, or if you're doing it on the same one, that's fine. Whatever works for you. And just jot these things down. You can bullet point it. Journaling does not have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It just needs to be for you. So it can be a bullet point under different sections of your life, and you can do it that way. You can just jot random things down. You can make a circle in the middle and write things that would make me happier and pull them off. But again, this is the part where I want you to use discretion and not just think, I want to make more money. Why? Not because, like, maybe I want to stop living paycheck to paycheck and I want enough money to do X. And then if you need to take a break after just saying that, fine. But then what happens is you go back into that goal and you say, okay, well, how much would that actually take? How much do I make right now? How much would I need to make in order to feel comfortable, like I'm not living paycheck to paycheck? And this will be more in the second video, that's kind of structure and everything. But right now you're just kind of thinking about, okay, specifically what do I want? How do I get a little more specific than just I want to make more money? And if that's what you need at surface level, do that. Just write that and leave it alone. Take a break from it. Again, this is not meant to be overwhelming, and this is why we're doing it now. You're putting these little sparks and seeds, let's call them seeds, in place so they can start growing roots and figuring themselves out and feeling comfortable in their environment before you just go full-fledged launch, all or nothing. I need to make $1,000 tomorrow, right? Like, don't do that to yourself. So surface level, pulled out version, however that looks for you, writing it down. What do you want? What, do you want to be reading more? And is that fiction or nonfiction books? Do you want to listen to more audiobooks? Do you want to listen to more podcasts? Do you want to think more about the things that you do want rather than I don't want this? What do you want instead? What is the opposite of that? I don't want more drama in my life. Okay, what's the opposite? I want more peace in my life, right? Do it the opposite way of what you do want. If you have trouble with this, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or in the comments and ask some questions, or give your ideas. Like, this is community. This is what motivates us, right? And if anyone would like kind of community support on this, if they think that would be helpful, let me know. We can figure something out. And the last thing that we will move on to talk about is my journaling challenge with myself that I stuck to, and how it was different than any other time I've tried to stick to something. I've been going through a lot for the last few months. There's been a lot going on. And in the past, I love journaling, but in the past I've definitely struggled with being able to be consistent with it. I've struggled with feeling like it has to look a certain way. I've struggled with writing stuff down just to write it down instead of to actually help myself. I've been in all the situations, and a few months back there were some things going on where I was like, journaling would really be the best thing for me right now to kind of get things out of my head. My head is so full, whatever. I need to stick to this though. I can't just do it once and forget it. So I was like, for the next 30 days I'm going to stick to journaling. And it was kind of this quiet, like, okay, this is important for me and this is going to be good for me. I need to do this. It wasn't a doom scroll on TikTok. I need the right journaling formula. I need this. I didn't make it overwhelming. I was just like, I should just journal every day. So when I look back in 30 days, I have something to kind of look at and feel like I've cleared my head a little bit. And the only rule I made for myself was that it needs to be more than a couple sentences. It needs to be like a couple paragraphs. It could be about anything. Didn't have to be about something. It could be the same thing every day. But I didn't want to stop myself from actually writing. I knew that I needed to actually be putting things on paper, not just a gratitude list and today's going to be a great day, bye. I needed to just do whatever was in my head, and so that's what I did. I didn't make it hard. I would just, I didn't even set a reminder. I just left my journal and a pen out. And if you need a reminder that actually helps you, great. I usually don't if it's in my field of vision. So I just left it out, and I would try to, as soon as I saw it, be like, okay, I'm going to journal right now, and just take 5 minutes and do it. And I'm saying this because it sounds like, oh sure, like easy for you to say, but no, it's not. Like, I've done plenty of times where I just have left it alone and just didn't, I didn't make a big thing of it. And this time I didn't make a big thing of it, but I was like, this is important to me. And I didn't make myself need 5 other things to go with it. It wasn't about journaling and workout and meal prepping and exercising and this and this and this and this. It was just get the journaling in. That was my priority. And narrowing it down and giving myself like one thing to focus on and not 57, put it in a place where like I spent 5 minutes, sometimes I spent 15 minutes, and that's fine, but I made sure that at least for a small amount of time every day, I was getting something out on paper, just my thoughts, even what happened that day, like a diary, didn't matter. And at the end of those 30 days, and there were a couple days too where like I just barely missed it because I would get home late and I would be kind of up late, and then all of a sudden it was midnight and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't journal today. So I would journal right then for that day. I still counted that because I still showed up consistently. The only times that like I missed it were if I forgot or if I had a really long day and like whatever happened, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh shoot. So like I still made mistakes, if you want to call it that, right? These are things that we would normally think as mistakes and say, oh, I fell off the wagon, let me quit. I just kept going every single day. And I didn't put any pressure on myself after that to be like, oh, now I'm giving up, of course. No, I was just like, I completed the 30 days. That was my goal. I'm proud of myself. And that gave me validation of I can do something for 30 days. I just can't force myself to do 57 things for 365 days, So all that to say, your goals are possible, and setting yourself up for the new year is not about not staying present here. It's just giving yourself that wiggle room, because life is overwhelming sometimes come January 1st. And I'm not trying to manifest that into saying like, oh, it's always overwhelming. No, it just can be. There's a lot going on. And so how do we make it less overwhelming? We take these steps now. We put ourselves in a perspective of, okay, it's not scary. It's okay. It's okay. We have to regulate our bodies and make ourselves feel calm around the things that really are not scary. We're not being chased by that giraffe we keep talking about, right? We're just putting ourselves in a better place. We're just taking care of ourselves. And when you take that kind of pressure off of being like that girl and here's my glow up and whatever, I love that stuff. I eat it up too. This is no judgment. It's just that sometimes in the places that we're in where real life is happening, we get so excited about that glow up, and when one thing goes wrong, it takes us right off the race. We quit and we're over it and we're upset about it. We're like, I can never be that girl. But you can. You just also need to take care of your body and listen to yourself. And it does take some discipline. It does take some sacrifice sometimes, but we use the word sacrifice in an end-all be-all way where it feels like we're dead. And that's not it. Sacrifice just sometimes means we're not just doom scrolling TikTok. Like, you're sacrificing the satisfaction of doing that for 30 minutes and instead doing something else for you. And it's not really sacrifice. You are helping yourself. So there's kind of my TED Talk for this whole situation. And I hope this kind of gave you guys something to think about, something to do to start. And our next video will be covering, okay, now we have all this on paper, what do we do with it? And hopefully I sound less like this. So my goal is to start getting 2 videos out to you guys that kind of go hand in hand for the week through the end of the year. But I would like to not sound like this for the next video. So I appreciate if you stuck around. If you found something helpful, please comment, share this with a friend, share with someone that might want to do the same thing, and you can hold each other accountable. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. I appreciate your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.